Season 3, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones, titled Walk of Punishment, continues to build tension across multiple storylines as various factions maneuver for power. The episode opens with a somber yet politically charged funeral at River Run for Hoster Tully. His son, Edmure Tully, fails to properly set his father's funeral boat ablaze, forcing his uncle, Brynden Blackfish Tully, to step in and do it himself. Robb Stark chastises Edmure for recklessly engaging in a battle that cost them valuable hostages. This moment reinforces the growing fractures within Robb's camp as he struggles to maintain control over his allies. Meanwhile, in King's Landing, Tyrion Lannister is assigned the thankless job of Master of Coin after Peter Littlefinger Baelish is sent to woo Lysa Arryn. Tyrion soon realizes that the crown is deeply in debt to the Iron Bank of Braavos, which will demand repayment or begin financing their enemies. In a lighter moment, Tyrion rewards Podrick Payne for his loyalty by hiring him a group of prostitutes, only for Pod to return, implying that he somehow impressed them so much that they refused payment. This subplot adds humor amid the darker political machinations in the capital. Beyond the wall, the Night's Watch struggles as they arrive at Craster's Keep. The men are starving and resentful, and tensions rise between Craster and the Black Brothers, particularly with Samwell Tarly, who is concerned for Gilly and her newborn son. Elsewhere, north of the wall, Mance Rayder and his wildlings discover the remains of dead Night's Watchmen, arranged in a grotesque spiral. Jon Snow continues to struggle with his role among the wildlings, as Tormund Giantsbane and Orell remain skeptical of his loyalty. These moments build tension for future conflicts between the Night's Watch and the Free Folk. In the Riverlands, Arya Stark, Gendry, and Hot Pie part ways as Hot Pie decides to stay at the inn where they had been staying. He gives Arya a direwolf-shaped bread as a farewell gift, marking a bittersweet moment in her journey. Meanwhile, Theon Greyjoy is freed by a mysterious ally, only to be recaptured by his true tormentor, Ramsay Snow. Theon's suffering escalates as Ramsay plays cruel psychological games, making him believe he is being rescued only to throw him back into captivity. This marks the beginning of Theon's harrowing transformation into Reek. The episode closes with one of its most shocking moments. Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth, captured by Bolton's men, attempt to navigate their precarious situation. Jaime tries to use his charm and wit to protect Brienne from being assaulted by convincing their captors she is worth a hefty ransom. However, his arrogance backfires when Locke, their leader, decides to teach Jaime a lesson. In a brutal and unexpected twist, Locke chops off Jaime's right hand, leaving him screaming in agony. This moment is a turning point for Jaime's character. Season 3, Episode 4 of Game of Thrones, titled And Now His Watch is Ended, is a pivotal episode filled with betrayal, brutality, and a major power shift. It begins with Jaime Lannister struggling after the loss of his sword hand. Weak, feverish, and humiliated, he barely manages to stay on his horse as Locke and his men mock him. Brienne tries to encourage him, but Jaime is drowning in despair, believing he has lost his identity as a warrior. However, when he weakly grabs a sword and fights for food, it signals the beginning of his transformation from arrogant knight to humbled survivor. Meanwhile, at King's Landing, Varys shares a chilling story with Tyrion about how he was castrated and how he eventually turned his suffering into power. He reveals that he has located the sorcerer who mutilated him and now has him locked in a crate, showing that patience and vengeance go hand in hand. Elsewhere in the capital, Joffrey and Margaery Tyrell visit the Sept of Baelor, where Margaery skillfully manipulates the crowd, showing she understands how to win the people's love, unlike Joffrey. Cersei grows increasingly wary of Margaery's influence, realizing she is losing control over her son. Beyond the wall, the Night's Watch reaches a breaking point at Craster's Keep. The brothers, starving and angry, grow resentful of Craster's cruelty and the way their Lord Commander, Jeor Mormont, tolerates his abuse. Tensions explode when one of the brothers kills Craster, triggering a mutiny. Mormont tries to restore order, but is ultimately betrayed and stabbed to death by his own men. Amid the chaos, Samwell Tarly escapes with Gilly and her newborn son, marking a desperate but crucial turn in his storyline. In the Riverlands, Arya Stark and the Brotherhood Without Banners bring Sandor the Hound Clegane before their leader, Beric Dondarrion. The Brotherhood, followers of the Lord of Light, accuse the Hound of past crimes, particularly the murder of a child. Beric, wielding a flaming sword, declares trial by combat, setting up a fight between him and the Hound. This moment introduces the concept of resurrection through R'hllor, the Lord of Light, which will become a major theme later in the series. The episode ends with one of Daenerys Targaryen's most iconic moments. She arrives at Astapor to finalize her deal with Krasnys Mo Naklos, trading Drogon for the Unsullied army. As soon as she takes control of the Unsullied, she reveals that she has understood Valyrian all along and orders Drogon to burn Krasnys alive. With a single command, she orders the Unsullied to kill the slavers and free the remaining slaves. This breathtaking sequence cements Daenerys as a true leader and military force, as she walks through the burning city, proving she is not just a queen, but a conqueror.